For Pacifica Radio, I'm Christina Onnested. The top United Nations court ruled today Israel's policies for settlements and use of natural resources in the occupied Palestinian territories violate international law and called for its end. The panel of 15 judges from around the world at the International Court of Justice ruled Israel's policies to claim and settle lands Palestinians seek for a future state, that's a West Bank, Gaza, and East Jerusalem, violate international law. It also ruled policies to demolish Palestinians' homes, extract water, and racial segregationist laws also violate international law. Nawaf Salam is president of the ICJ. He read the ruling and says nations are obliged to bring an end to Israel's occupation, not assist it. He spoke through an interpreter.
All states are under an obligation not to recognize as legal the situation arising from the unlawful presence of Israel in the occupied Palestinian territory. They are also under an obligation not to render aid or assistance in maintaining the situation created by Israel's illegal presence in the occupied Palestinian territory. It is for all states, while respecting the Charter of the United Nations and international law, to ensure that any impediment resulting from the illegal presence of Israel in the occupied Palestinian territory to the exercise of the Palestinian people of its right to self-determination is brought to an end.
The groundbreaking ruling says the United Nations General Assembly should establish the best methods for ending Israel's occupation of the Palestinian territories. The General Assembly had sought the High Court's advisory opinion. Its ruling is non-binding. Israel largely considers the United Nations and its international tribunals unfair and biased. In Russia, Wall Street Journal reporter Evan Gershkovich was sentenced to 16 years in prison today on espionage charges in a case the U.S. and his employer say is a sham and deny the charges. The sentence came after a secretive and rapid trial and could now clear the way for a prisoner swap between Moscow and Washington. Donald Trump gave his acceptance speech to be the Republican Party's presidential nominee at the closing night of the Republican National Convention. Farah Siddiqui has more.
I am running to be president for all of America, not half of America, because there is no victory in winning for half of America.
Starting subdued, former President Donald Trump described his attempted assassination and said he was saved by God. His hour-and-a-half acceptance speech asked for unity before moving on to typical Trump campaign topics. By the end, he had attacked his regular targets while promising his leadership could do everything from ending wars to curing cancer. Bob Branch, a Maricopa County official and an Arizona delegate, says after Saturday's shooting, the party is galvanized.
We're united behind Donald Trump and Vance. We believe this is the best for the world and also for America.
Meanwhile, away from Milwaukee, unconfirmed media reports say President Joe Biden may give in to pressure from Democrats and leave the race within days. Biden is in Delaware recovering from COVID, just after saying health problems could force him to give up running for re-election.
If there had some medical condition that emerged, if the doctors came to me and said, you got this problem, that problem.
I'm Farah Siddiqui for Pacifica Network and Public News Service.
Democrats are raising the alarm about a second Trump presidency in the playbook his former administration officials have written, Project 2025, warning it includes a nationwide abortion ban and calls for ending certain Medicare services. Trump has sought to distance himself from Project 2025. Christopher Martinez has more.
Senator Alex Padilla is a Democrat from California.
Project 2025 is the most significant attack on our system of government and our personal freedom that has ever been proposed. Shame on the Republican Party.
Project 2025 is a 900-page presidential transition plan created by the conservative Heritage Foundation, led by former Trump administration officials. Padilla says Project 2025 would gut checks and balances, giving Trump near unlimited power. He says it would also ban abortion nationwide, require a loyalty oath to work in the Trump administration, cut Social Security and Medicare, and round up 10 million immigrants and put them in detention camps. In a separate news conference, Democratic Congressmember Judy Chu of Los Angeles talked about the threat to health care.
Project 2025 would strip health care from millions of the most vulnerable amongst us. It calls for lifetime caps on Medicaid benefits, threatening the coverage for at least 18.5 million low-income Americans. It calls for the repeal of the Inflation Reduction Act, in turn raising the price of insurance premiums and seniors' prescription drugs. And as part of a comprehensive attack on women's reproductive health, it would even end mandatory health insurance coverage for contraception.
I'm Christopher Martinez.
A global technology outage related to Microsoft has grounded and canceled flights, knocked banks, railways, and hospital systems offline, and media outlets off the air around the globe. And an unprecedented disruption highlighting global dependence on software from a handful of providers. Cybersecurity firm CrowdStrike said the cause is believed to not be a cyber attack and a fix is on the way, but problems are continuing, affecting access to Microsoft 365 apps and services, forming long lines at airports across the world. I'm Christina Onestad, reporting for Pacifica Radio.